Hey everyone, welcome back. And this is another top list, which is something I haven't made in a while, I know. So this is kind of a late one, but there's a good reason for it. This is my top 5 anime of spring 2013. Now, the reason why this is so late is because I wanted to wait for my number 1 choice to finish airing. Now that it's finished airing, I can make this list. So yes, and coming up next will be my top 5 of the summer. So yeah. Anyways, let's get started here, shall we? My number 5 choice is the anime series My Youth Romantic Comedy, As Wrong as I Expected, Snafu. Alright, now the reason why this series is so low on the list is simply because, it had an amazing start, I felt. But over the course of the series, it diminished quite a bit. Alright, it just kept on going with the same gags, repeated over and over again, and I just really lost my interest eventually. There were a few spikes here and there, but for the most part, it just really went downhill towards the end, and that's why it's so low on the list, alright? But it's still a good series that deserves at least one watch, but I really don't see myself rewatching it again in the future. So, yeah, and now then, number 4 is The Severing Crime Edge, also known as Dansai Bunri no Crime Edge. This series was very unique. Let's just put it that way. It's the only series I've ever watched where I can watch someone fighting using a pair of scissors while they're fighting someone who's wielding a giant fucking hammer. Okay, the scissors wielding guy, of course, being the main character. That alone sounds really awesome. It was a 13-episode series, and given the ending, to me, it kind of feels incomplete, so I really want a second season of this in the future. I'm not sure if one's been confirmed yet or not, but I really want one, because this was a really good series. Alright, with a few minor hiccups here and there, but it had a really original plot. Basically, the premise revolved around a girl whose hair is cursed to be forever uncuttable. Alright, and our boy, Kirti, or our main character, Kirti, ends up meeting her one day because he misses his stop on his way to school. So he ends up finding a pair of scissors known as the Severing Crime Edge, which is able to cut her hair. And that's the basic premise. It sounds really basic, but it gets more complicated later on. We find these other characters who are called authors, who have special killing goods. Alright, his Severing Crime Edge is one of these, so he's also an author. And like I said before, the ending leaves it to where there could definitely be a second season, and I would definitely want one because it was a really good series. Alright. Number 3 is The Devil is a Part-Timer. Now, this is an interesting one, because it starts out quite serious, alright? The demon lord Satan is about to take over the world when he's defeated by the valiant hero Emilia Justina. In a last-ditch effort to escape, he escapes through a wormhole along with his right-hand man, Asiel, I think his name is. And he escapes to modern-day Japan. Both of them escape to modern-day Japan. And Emilia ends up escaping as well, or chasing after him, basically. And in modern-day Japan, both of the two demons have to figure out how to fit in with modern-day society. Now, from that setup, you would think that it would just be purely based on comedy and that's it. But no, it actually does have an overarching storyline. So basically the first few minutes of the first episode aren't there to just fucking fool you, thankfully. Alright, and it's really good, and it's another series that I think should definitely get a second season. Alright, it's very unique, and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, and number 2, we have Gargantia on the Virtuous planet, also known as Suisei no Gargantia. Clocking in at 13 episodes and an OVA, which I have yet to review, by the way. This series is once again very unique. It revolves around, or it takes place many years in the future when humanity is on the, well, humanity on Earth anyways is said to be extinct. In space, however, there is the Galactic Alliance, and one of their members, Leto, ends up being defeated at the beginning of the series briefly by one of their enemies, known as the Hedias, or whatever the fuck they're called. Alright, and he crash lands on Earth. However, he crash lands at a place known as Gargantia, where there actually still are humans at. Which, as I said before, it was believed up to this point that they were actually extinct. Now, the series basically revolves around Leto trying to fit in with Gargantian society while also trying to find a way to get back to the Galactic Alliance. He also has a mech named, or rather an AI named Chamber that he fights in, and that is basically his only real companion. Alright, and the series has mech battles, but it's not really a mecha series. Alright, it focuses mostly on the characters and the plot, and it's another very unique series. There's not really anything else I can say about this. The ending of this series is kind of odd though, because it's kind of open-ended, meaning there doesn't have to be a sequel, but there definitely could be. Like, in terms of the Severing Crime Edge and The Devil's a Part-Timer, those series, you know, they almost have to have a sequel because of their endings. But this one doesn't really have to, but it could. It's not really complete, but it's not really, there's not really a cliffhanger either. That's why I say, you know, it's an open-ended ending, alright? But it was very good, though. I really enjoyed it. And then we come down to number 1. I think you can all probably tell what this is going to be, since it's the only one I reviewed episodically on this channel that from the spring that I've had to wait to complete in order to make this list. That would, of course, be Attack on Titan. Now, I'm going to keep this short because there's not really anything I can say about Attack on Titan that everyone hasn't said many times over, myself included. It's fucking brilliant, and I absolutely loved the series. It will be a second season, so when that comes around, I will review it episodically on this channel as well. But it was a fucking brilliant series. I absolutely loved it. I'm not even going to explain the premise, because if you're an anime fan, you probably, even if you haven't watched it or much of it, you probably heard of the premise. If you haven't watched it yet, let me just tell you that it's incredibly fucking dark and foreboding, and if you don't like a series like that, then you will not like this series, okay? I just want to get that out of the way first. So yes, Attack on Titan is my favorite anime of spring 2013, and it's definitely looking like it might be my favorite anime of 2013. Alright, of course we still have the fall series to get through and the winter as well, but I doubt anything's gonna impress me as much as Titan did. Alright, so anyways, that just about wraps up my top 5 favorite anime of spring 2013. Once again, I apologize for getting this list out so late, but I needed to wait for Titan, or didn't really need to, but I wanted to wait for Titan to finish, because you never know, it could have done something later on that made the series total shit. Luckily it didn't, so it still made number 1, and holding this list off wasn't completely worthless. Good thing too, because those are the only 5 series I watched during spring 2013. So yeah, it was basically just a matter of putting them in order. So yes. But anyways, overall, hope you enjoyed this video, guys. See you after, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.